Sad. Probably we'll start. It's already 11:03. There's some participants still joining, but we can start the session. So, good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining this outreach session on Disk 8. Many of you would already be aware, iDEX, which is short for Innovation for Defense Excellence, was a program launched by the Honorable Prime Minister to promote entrepreneurship and innovation in the defense sector. And DISC is one of the flagship program where challenges from the defense forces, from DPSUs and other related organizations is posed to the innovators and the startup community. And it has become a major platform for the defense sector to engage with the innovators and the startups in the country. And now we have the 8th version of the DISC program. But it is the first time where there is focus on space related applications in the defense sector. And today we are fortunate to have two eminent speakers among us, Lieutenant General Shankar, who will give us an overview of space applications in the defense sector and how startups may play a role here. And we also have Lieutenant Colonel Anthony with us from the iDEX team, who will give an overview of the DISC 8 challenges. And if there are any specific queries related to challenges, he will help answer those. So without any further delays, I would like to invite Lieutenant General Shankar to help us understand more about this sector.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Bhuvan, and good evening to everyone. I'm speaking to you people from USA, so it's rather late night here. So that's why it's good evening from here and good morning in Chennai and in India. What we'll do is just to give you a background. After retirement from the army, I've been in IIT Madras from 2017. I'm in the aerospace department. I'm here temporarily for a couple of months to be with my son, and I'll be back in IIT Madras. And in fact, my course starts from 17th onwards. Classes start, so I'll be back there. And I've had a lot of interaction with the IIT incubation cell, as also with the research part, and a lot of startups also I've been interacting. There was a lot of interaction I used to have with many startups on all things related to the armed forces till the pandemic. After that, it actually weaned off. So this is my open offer to anyone who's going to get into the iDEX thing and who's going to operate especially from Chennai or who wants help from IIT Madras. I'm available to you guys 24/7 whenever you want to guide on anything, whether it's space or non-space. So that is open offer. So it's up to you to take. I'll be in the aerospace department from 15 Jan onwards. Right. What today I'll speak to you is about space. Well, I was fortunate enough to get an entry into this idea of space. Right. As way back in 1988, when I was associated with the first launch of the Prithvi missile, when it was launched from Sriharikota, that is the Satish Dhawan Space Center today, right? And those days, my director in DRDL was Dr. Abdul Kalam. Though I've not really got into space because my core strength was artillery, I have a lot of idea about what space is, for the simple reason that when you're dealing with long-range missiles, etc., you deal with space also. But having said that, for a long time, space was not the focus for the armed forces, but the way militarization of space is taking place, there is no choice but to have a space focus. And it's right that the armed forces have taken up this, and they've taken it in a big way. The SIDM has also got into it with space. iDEX has also got into it because there's a lot of things which startups can do in space. They've come out with some 12 or 14 or 15 challenges, but space has more challenges. Okay, ideas are just welcome. Anything can join, and most items which you use in space have dual use technologies application elsewhere. So don't get fixated by what is going to come up in this iDEX or what Colonel Antony will show you or what I'll show you. I'll give you an overview. That's why I thought, let me give you an overview of what military space is, what is involved, who can enter, where you can contribute, where you can make money. Okay. So with this, I'll go through a small presentation. At the end of the presentation, if you have any questions, we'll take it on. Okay. And if there are any issues which you want to understand better, we'll put it together. Colonel Antony will take it to Delhi, speak with iDEX, speak with everything, and then we'll see how to take it forward. Bhuvan, can we have the first slide? Yeah, that's great. So I'll take you through this walk you through a few slides which I put together. We'll talk of defense space sector and the opportunities for the startups. Can we have the next slide? Yeah. What is the defense space sector all about? First and foremost, the defense space sector is an expanding greenfield sector. Why it's expanding and greenfield is ISRO dominates the civilian sector in space. The DRDO dominates certain aspect of the defense sector in space. But the actual thing where the armed forces do daily business in space is vacant. It was hitherto dependent on either ISRO or DRDO. And today, the militarization of space has gone to such an extent that the defense space has just opened up. They have to develop everything from scratch. Okay. And it's a huge sector. And I think those of you who get onto the sector today will, reap a lot of benefit in terms of value, financially, and in terms of knowledge and expertise. Okay. Why? ISRO is not mandated to handle the defense sector and it does not have the capacity to take it on. That's the fundamental. As I was telling people, once upon a time, all launches, the Agni 1, Prithvi, all that were used to take place from ISRO, the SHAR, that is Satish Dhawan Space Center, which is near Sriharikota. Okay. That's gone. And it's way back in 88, 89, the thing went to Chandipur. And Chandipur is also now full. They have their own, the DRDO is full with this thing, and they cannot give it for any other launch purpose. I understand that there is another launching center which is going to come down south, closer to somewhere near Tuticorin, between Chennai and Tuticorin. Invariably, I think the defense will buy into it and have some capacity, infrastructure, or it'll have to build its own. But that's a different story. At this point of time, the entire defense segment is leaning on ISRO. Okay. And like I said, the sector is very large. Okay, next. Yeah. When you look at the defense space sector, let's see what are the components of the space sector where you can latch in, depending on what expertise you have. Because each startup would be focusing on one aspect of this or part of it. Right? So where you can launch in, because there are a whole lot of parts which are required beyond the challenges which have been put out. So you need a launch station fundamentally, which I told you. You need to have space vehicles, rockets. When you talk of rockets, when you break up that rocket, you're looking at propulsion, you're looking at navigation, control, and deployment. These 4 activities have to take place. Then all this rocket has to go and deploy a satellite on top. Now, once there's a satellite on top, you need onboard systems. And once these things are put in place, you need system security. And once a satellite is deployed up in space, you need operation and maintenance. And then you need to have constellations. One satellite won't do the trick. In fact, I've written a few articles. If you go to my website, which is called gunnershot.com, GUNNERSSHOT.com. Okay. and go into a column called space technology. I've written about 5-6 articles about 2-3 years back on how ASAT takes place and XYZ and all that. I actually wrote all those for that. And I also incidentally teach this business of space technology as a capsule in the defense technology courses which I run for MTech and PhD students in IIT to give them an overview. Okay, so I have interacted with a few guys, and this is where it is. And you need constellation. One single satellite won't do the trick. Next slide, please. Okay, what are the characteristics of space? Space is the toughest medium. I would recommend all of you see this movie called Martian, where Matt Damon is the hero. You'll understand what space and what space technology is all about. It's a fantastic movie. Yeah, I also recommend that you see this movie Gravity. You'll understand how survival in space, everything is all about. Your systems have to survive that. Okay. People talk very easily about asset operation and destroying satellite and all. It doesn't happen. You have to see that movie Gravity to understand it. Okay. Now it's the toughest medium. Anything which goes into space has to be self-contained. It can't come down. You can't bring it down. Okay, it's not like a car you can take to a garage and get it repaired. So it has to be fault-free. It has to be very reliable. Reliability has to be of the highest order. You can't deploy a satellite up and say my transponder doesn't work there. Okay, or one transistor has gone, or its security has been this thing. So it has to be very reliable, thorough checking, lot of testing, lot of XYZ. The technology there, which you put up there, has to be of the latest variety. The simple reason is a satellite will be up there. It will be there for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or 2 years. Depends on how you launch it. Say, let's take a satellite which is up for 5 years. The technology which you put in today has to last out 5 years and be compatible with technology 5 years hence. Because the ground systems would have changed by then completely. Okay. If you go 10 years back, no one owned an iPhone. Today, every Tom, Dick, and Harry owns an iPhone or a Chinese version of an iPhone. Okay, but the thing which transmits signals to you from the sky has not changed. That technology was launched 10 years back from some satellite, whichever satellite it is. GLONASS, ENAS, WONAS, whatever it is. Okay, so that is something which you have to understand. It has to be long lasting. Everything has to be built to last at least 5 to 6 years. Then a major constraint of space is energy. How do you get energy in space? यहाँ तो ठीक है बिजली IIT Madras में plug लगा दिया, you get your computer system is powered up. What do you do in space? You need to have different solutions. You need to think differently. Okay, it's not as if energy is not there in space. There is energy. We all know that solar energy hai, all that, but you use lithium ion cells, and also you need, that's a technology sector by itself. Space technology and space energy is something different. And how do you tap space-based energy is a huge technology, which is not there in the iDEX. What I'm trying to tell you is, sooner or later, the defense sector will have to touch all these and be independent of ISRO and DRDO if it has to function. Then it has to be safe. It can't blow up there. You have to understand that anything which blows up in the sky in space keeps traveling like a loose cannon or a loose missile at the rate of 7.8 kilometers per second. And if it hits anything else, that will get blown off and create more space debris. Okay, it cannot break up. It cannot. All those nonsense cannot happen. It cannot. Something can't overheat and just break it up. So, next slide. Yeah, this is for those of you who have not understood space or don't have a full idea of space. You see the Earth. You see the first band called the low Earth orbit. That normally is from 160 kilometers to 2000 kilometers. That's the low Earth orbit. But normally the operating orbits is around 300 to 800. That's where most of the LEOs, low Earth orbit satellites, go around. Beyond 2000, there's something called the Val Allen belt. I'll not talk of it. Their satellites can't really function. This is the orbit of interest. And this is important for exploiting space rather than knocking a satellite down. But that's a different story. Then you have from 2000 to above to 35,000, you have the MEO or the medium Earth orbit satellites. This is where all your, GPS, GLONASS, all your Navstar, all these navigation satellites hang around. And beyond that is your geostationary satellites, which are basically communication satellites. Why this range of when you say geostationary 35,870 kilometers, it has to do with the diameter of the Earth. Okay, next slide. I'll not get into all this because I would rather see what. Okay, where are military satellites used? Military satellites are used for communication. When you say communication, they could be for relay, they could be for control of UAVs, control for onboard systems, control of aircraft. Okay, right? Even relay is for transponding. And then it could also be for IFF, identification of friend of foe. Then military satellites could be for ISR, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. That means onboard systems for these. What these are, we'll talk about it a little later. You could use them for navigation, GPS mapping, everything. And mapping is something very important tomorrow in, as far as military satellites are concerned. If you are going to automate the battlefield, if you're going to have long range, long range missiles going across, and if your aircraft have to go much beyond, you need maps, you need references. Our mapping system is such that our map grids don't go beyond the border too much. Over Pakistan, they go not over China. Okay, so you need to generate map grids, and that generation of map grids has to be done by satellites because you need a set of reference points. Okay, so I see this is a huge segment, which again is not there in any of these iDEX thing which I could make out. Maybe it is there, but I don't think so. MET. Your meteorological observations are very important tomorrow if you're going to fire long-range systems across oceans. If you have to fire a missile from, say, Chennai to Andaman Nicobar, you need MET. There's no system today we can get MET, right? And that MET cannot be singular MET out of satellites only. It has to be satellite-based, aircraft-based, ship-based. It's a combination. It's a whole story about which we are quite ignorant. Okay, and I've been telling people, okay, let's look at it. Something which is a segment which people can make entry into. Electronic warfare. That's everyone knows how to carry out electronic warfare. What kind of electronic warfare? But that again, I'll not go into the full details, but it is required. Fallout monitors. Fallout monitors required for not only nuclear fallout, even for chemical fallout, especially when in disaster relief measures. Why I'm talking of disaster relief here, you must understand this, that the armed forces are invariably the first responders for any disaster, any major disaster, tsunamis and all that. In the last tsunami in 2004, it was the Indian Navy which was the first responder in most cases in the Bay of Bengal and right up to the Pacific Ocean. So it would need the kind of if there's a disaster of an oil tanker or someone carrying chemicals, the fallout will be there, and that tracking has to be done only by satellites. There's no other way. Okay, in the deep blue seas. Then you have killer satellites, lasers, directed energy weapons. So all these things is a huge packet from one end to the other. You can enter it anywhere. We'll talk about it a little later. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, when you talk of sensors, which are normally mounted on board satellites, you could have passive sensors. Now, most of the military sensors fall in the passive category. What are these passive sensors? They use the illumination of the sun or emissions by the target to detect them. Okay. These could be day-night cameras, they could be thermal imaging systems, electronic warfare receivers, communication transponders, and MET systems. These are all passive systems. They just observe whatever is coming from the environment. They don't emit anything. They're silent. It was like hearing everything or just seeing. You're not talking in that. Okay. All transponders used for command and control, airspace management, UAV and aircraft control, enhancing range of communications, all these come under passive sensors. So okay. Next. Then next you have a set of active sensors. Now active sensors are complex. These could be radars, synthetic aperture radars, normal radars, lidars, laser-based devices, electronic emissions for jamming, and even directed energy weapons. These are few of the things which I've said. It could be more. Now, the biggest challenge in an active system is power, and it's power generation, management, and weight management. Because up in the sky with the satellite, you can only do that much, and the ranges are huge. 800 kilometers down, you have to be effective. Okay, that sensor has to be effective on ground, right? So, and plus it has to communicate, plus it has to be steered, plus it has to get information, everything. So power generation in active sensors is a big problem. So power and energy is a huge space which is required for satellites for tomorrow. The way I look at it, these challenges which have been given is based on certain small requirements which are required for military satellites, which will ride the ISRO bandwagon today. But come tomorrow, you're going to see a different story, and it will happen. At one fine day, ISRO is going to say thank you to the defense systems. So you do your own trick. Okay, this is only the initial hand holding. Like I said in the beginning, this is a huge space, expanding, and absolute greenfield. And there's a great opportunity for those of you who are entering this area. Okay, next. Yeah, when you look at look at the center, picture, any space system, you have a space segment with its subsystems, you have an Earth segment with its subsystems and communication links. When you look at the space segments, whatever is up there is your space segment. They could be sensors, satellite, power transmission, and control subsystems. When you say control systems, you control the control of the satellite itself. Okay, that's what goes into the space. In the Earth, on the down below in blue, what block I've given, there's a tracking antenna. You have transmission, you have a downlink or a data receiver, sensor control, orbit control, subsystems, because all things which how to control the orbit is done on ground. These are the entry points into the space. On the left I've said, besides this, there's a huge service sector which will come up. Because the Army, Navy, and the Air Force don't have any organization which can service their entire system, their requirements. What is the service system? Data collection, analysis, system maintenance. If tomorrow you have to incorporate AI into your system, you need someone doing AI, cyber, and programming. This entire system of software, okay, programming based or software based or computer based, call it what, IT based, is just open. The armed forces have no capability to do all this. They don't have the organization to do it. They'll invariably have to offload it to people. So if there are software companies which want to enter into this, I suggest you start thinking on these lines, right? And it's a long process. So this is a black hole, in fact, for the services. You can get data from there. What do you do with it? It is not, understanding what is on ground, not on ground. The major thing you have to understand is most of these systems are building data up over years. It's not during war that you know what it is. You're doing this game right from today within your own country and across the country. Okay. for India, the width which we have to start looking at is from the Gulf of Eden to the Malacca Straits, and from south of Sri Lanka, somewhere near Digo Garcia, right across Tibet. The swath is large, the data is huge. There is issue of servers. How do you maintain it? What is the security? All this is a huge packet which is absolutely not thought of so far. Those challenges which have been put up to you are very, 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 very minimal. Okay. And this is, they're just latching on to whatever ISRO has done, but eventually the services will have to do it. Okay. Right. Next. Now, what is the approach? The way I look at it, the defense has to have a space node where all this work is done. It is not iDEX job. It is not the IDS job. It is not the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. They have to have a node which functions as a defense space node to do all this. They might be having, I don't know, but this is my way, because I mean, I'm not interacted with them. Maybe next time through iDEX, Colonel Anthony will go back and we could have a talk about it. And right, the services have to be on board on this node naturally, but they need a lot of expertise from ISRO and DRDO. Okay, because they have the resident knowledge about all this. Khas karke ISRO. Then this entire effort has to be anchored by some big players beyond ISRO. I've just put a few like Tata's, Reliance, L&T, even Airtel will come into the play, or Vivo, whoever it is. Then even there are certain PSUs who have this capability, like ECIL. ECIL has got some tremendous capabilities. Okay. So even that has to be brought in, because ECIL is after all of the Department of Atomic Energy, and they've got tremendous quality control. So someone has to wrap all this up and say, okay, this is my plan. Then you need explosive and propulsion expertise, because you have to put the rockets up, and that's a huge thing. Because for even a satellite of say 10 kg, 20 kg, you need 1,000 kg worth of propulsion up. Okay, so I mean a rocket up. So how do you make it then? How do you make the rockets? What propulsion do you use? The whole lot of story. Where is the launch center? Who will give you that space? Who will give you that slot to push it up? Then if you do something silly, that Yuan Wang from China will come and sit in Sri Lanka or somewhere there. There's a lot of issues which have to be done, and this defense space node has to do it. Then someone has to integrate all the startups, because the startups, like all of you have, I see about 15, 20 people today. You are just the start of the startups. Eventually, I visualize at least 200-300 startups have to be part of this game. Then they have to have a system like this ISRO IITM cell. There's a cell in IIT which works where ISRO gives requirement for research, and coming out with prototypes, they fund and all that has to be done. Otherwise, this is going nowhere. iDEX is totally out of the game. I mean, I would say totally out of their depth in this. They'll have the best of intentions, but technically they don't have the capability. So the technology's input has to come from some anchor institution, and that, to the best of my understanding today in India, as far as the aerospace segment is concerned, comes from IIT Madras. Yeah, electronics, software, you could go to other IITs. Why IIT Madras? Because IIT Madras is the only one which has the license to make explosives and propulsion. And these explosives are required up in the sky also, incidentally, especially for control, for boosting, for changing altitude, for getting certain things on board or shutting lines off. You need explosive control. There's no other way. You need fuel-rich, oxygen-rich explosives, because up there, explosives won't function unless they're oxygen-rich. And that's a whole new technology where people can get into. Okay. And then, of course, there's this defense space node has to ensure that no interference in this whole game. interference will come from outside. There'll be sanctions, okay, on certain technologies. So those technologies under which you are sanctioned or denied, you'll have to develop on your own, and you'll be interfered with. You will not have parts. And if you think, look, I'm going to make a transponder, the first thing I'm going to buy is a Chinese thing, that's out. That's a waste. Don't do it. So no one's going to allow you allow Chinese items to go up. Okay, especially communicating items, where there could be a trap door or something where information can leak out, or they can, interfere with it. So all these are there, and plus the standards. Who's writing the standards for all this? Because iDEX is nice to give you, oh, this is my challenge. What are the standards for that challenge? They'll give you some money. Then what happens? You make something, it's of no use to them. Then they'll ask you that money back. That's the way iDEX functions. Okay, they're not giving free. That grant is a loan, right? Which is you are expected to repay. So be careful on that, because there are financial issues involved. I'm not speaking against the iDEX, but I'm speaking for the startups. Okay, next. See, one thing which we need to understand before you get into a thing, okay, you as a startup, you will meet a requirement. If that is the only transaction between you and the Defense Space Agency, okay, you develop this responder or transponder, and I'll take 100 of them, and that's the end of the story. It's fine, but it won't end there, nor will it begin there. So we need to have, what is the MOD roadmap and the plan ahead? What is the broad plan? Otherwise, why will any startup get into it? So that is something which we have to be clear of. And maybe when I come back, we could, from IIT, we could go and interact with whoever is handling this space segment in IDS. What are the budgets involved? What is the support being extended? If it is just a manufacturing capability, for example, I will go over some of these challenges which have come. There are a lot of questions in that. What is the support being given? Okay, why I'm making this is because the chaps who have outlined this might themselves not have answers for this. It has to be a synergistic affair. That is why there's a requirement for a node where you can go and explain yourself, and someone can help you. Someone can not only incubate you, someone can guide you, and that guidance has to come part from guys who are technically adapted, and second guys are the guys who are going to handle this space segment or the ground segment. And that is why the requirement of ISRO is, if the armed forces are riding piggyback on ISRO, so all the more important for whoever is entering this space to have clarity through the armed forces and with ISRO. Otherwise, you will make something which can't go up. Okay, yeah, next slide. These are the things which I saw on the net. They're talking of these 3: beam steering antenna, onboard system for satellite mission planning, onboard system for small LEOs. Okay, what is the small LEO? What is the thing? Those specifications, etc. You have to be clear of before you start getting into it. Next. Yeah, these are the things: antennas, sensor data, processing and analysis. That's what I spoke of also. They're talking about miniaturized multi-payload satellite up to 150 kg. So in 150 kgs, they want EO, IR, SAR, and hyperspectral. It's a tough ask. Unless this guy is very clear, like I said, that you're having 4 sensors, energy, data, all those, it is just not that, the whole lot. So someone has to do a lot of planning for this. And nothing has to be Chinese and all that, which you can put into things. Okay, next. I'm just giving you, these are what I found on the website of iDEX. Handheld sat phone capable of multimedia transmission reception. That's the simplest of the lot. Okay. Satcom with second one. And then something like Geo satellite supported IoT platform for real monitoring of remote facilities asset from dedicated control sectors. What this is, I don't know. To be very thing. So they have to give you clarity. They will, right? But these are only a few representative things. I think someone has to organize something far more than this to think. Otherwise, I don't know whether startups will be capable of taking it up also or not. Yeah. Next. Yeah, nano and micro imaging satellites, right? Then atomic CubeSat swarms in LEO. It's very nice to say CubeSat swarms in LEO. Okay. But it's a very technical process to release a swarm up there. Do you have the orbit? You have the slots? You have how many are you going to put up there? When are you going to deploy them? When are they going to be operational? How are you going to use the swarm? See, unless you understand which orbit it is going in, a polar orbit, for example, just to give you an idea, the polar orbit goes over, say, if you put a polar orbit, it in a day, you get coverage of Pakistan 30 minutes. That's it. So if you put a swarm, that means you're putting 10 satellites up. With the hope that 10 into 30, you get 300 minutes. 300 minutes is still 5 hours only out of 24. Okay, the challenges. So some of these definitions which they're given, which the requirements that they're given, I don't know whether they understand all this also. Okay, so that clarity has to come through. What is it required out of the startups? And that clarity will come only if there's dedicated roadmap, some set of guys who are very clear what they want done. Right? I mean, I might be out of whack in this completely because I'm sure the chaps who put this up know what they're doing. I have confidence. But these are the questions I'll have as a startup. Okay, I'll just put across a few points. Yeah, next. Next. Yeah, this is what I had to put across to all of you. So we can discuss. Anyone has questions, I'm prepared to take them on. Bhuvan, thanks for the slides. Thanks for showing it. Yes, I'm open for questions.
If anyone has any questions, please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, anyone?
Yeah, hi. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Vidyadhar. I was just watching the presentation, and in regards to the challenges that were actually shown, I wanted to know, is there like a high level requirements or like a performance criteria or like a spec sheet or anything as such,
Yeah, they will give you. I'm sure they'll give you. I'm sure iDEX will give you. Colonel Antony will cover it. Look, I'm not an iDEX, huh?
Okay, got it.
No, but still, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand. There will be specs for it. They will give you. Yeah. Anyone else?
Hi, sir. My name is Jayashankar. I'm calling. I am joining from Cochin, Kerala, and from organization Transute. So
Okay.
we basically develop Internet of Things, sensor networks, and all. And as you rightly mentioned on one particular problem domain, that's geosats for IoT.
Okay.
So there are technologies which are right now available where IoT sensor networks. There are several nodes which real time monitor some aspects like temperature, humidity, or any parameters, and then it will be having a gateway device where it backhaul to the satellite network. There are technologies like that. So what exactly the problem domain? What is the value addition that a startup or someone who is entering into the domain can bring in this space, which has already been available, and ISRO is actually providing such a SATCOM service.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. ISRO doesn't have the bandwidth to do all this. So this entire ecosystem is being built by the armed forces.
Okay. So, but even in that sense, like whether the problem domain, I'm not sure whether you are the right person to give me the answer, but I'm just
I'm not.
sharing my concern. Yeah.
No, I understand what you're talking. I'm not the person.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Anyway, if someone else is there,
look.
Yes, sir.
Let me be very clear.
Yeah.
I'm not the person to give you the answers for those challenges. I can
Okay.
I thought, let me give you the larger issue.
Okay.
On behalf of all of you, I put across a few points
Okay.
to Anthony, and what space segment is all about if you're not used to it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And Colonel Anthony has come from Delhi. He deals with iDEX, so he will probably give you some clarity of this. But
Is sir
at the
available
end
on
of
this
this,
call?
yeah, he'll be talking next.
Oh, okay.
But the fact remains that even both of us will not be able to give you clarity on this.
Okay, sir. I
I'm very
understood.
confident of this. Okay,
Okay.
this is more of a exploratory thing. I
Okay.
would suggest you apply for it, because 19th December is what those of you, I would suggest, don't hesitate to apply. In
Sure, sir.
your
Sure. We anyways having like the proposal and the technicalities
Yeah,
being
so
prepared.
I would suggest to all of you, if I have a message to all of you,
Mm-hmm.
don't hold yourself back.
Okay. Understood, sir.
All of you get into it, because
Okay.
this is a greenfield system, and you'll come wherever you have to surface out, you'll surface out. You can always
Yes, sir.
bail out of it.
Right. So anyway, our confusion, I mean, just to share our confusion, it is nothing but like we have IoT networks. We will be having the capability to bridge the IoT network towards a SATCOM link. We'll be able to build the technology indigenously, like with FPGA or
Yeah,
master
I understand.
microcontrollers. We are able to do, but who is going to give the spectrum? Who is going to
They'll
give
give.
the kind of
Yeah,
things?
these are the questions even
Yeah.
I'll have,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
I'm sure they'll give it to you. So, but my only thing is, there are a lot of there will be more questions at the end of this discussion than
Okay.
answers.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
look, this is an absolute new venture by everyone.
Okay.
So I would suggest, don't hold yourself back because you don't have the answers for them, or no one can give you the answers for them.
Okay.
Get into it.
Sure, sir. Sure.
See where it takes you. If you at the
Okay.
end, at some point of time, you say you're totally up the wall and I can't do anything more, bail out. Otherwise,
Okay.
carry on. You will get something.
Yes, sir. I am agreed 100%. Thank you,
Because
sir. Thank you so much.
I told you in the beginning, this is a greenfield effort. There are a lot of loose ends, lot of loopholes in the system.
Yes, sir. We will give our best shot with what all
Yeah.
things which are available in the problem domain. We will make a
Yeah.
proposal and submit towards this.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Anything
Thank you so
else?
much.
So there are no further questions at this point. I'll invite Lieutenant Colonel Anthony to talk about the challenges in particular that may answer a lot of queries that are there regarding specific challenges also.
Right. Bhuvan, I'll break off here. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very
right.
much, sir, for joining.
Yeah,
And,
when I come back, we'll have a get together, right?
yes.
And then we'll see how to take this whole thing forward. And Anthony, you can get in touch with me anytime you want.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for joining.
Okay. Bye. See you. Bye. All the best to all of you.
Thank you, sir. My presentation. Hope the screen is visible to everyone. Now we'll have a presentation on the challenges from Lieutenant Colonel Anthony.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I visible? Am I audible? Can anybody confirm?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you are audible and visible. Perfectly fine.
Great, thanks. Yeah. I reached Chennai yesterday and I wanted to come in person here, even though the presentation is online. But yes, for me also and for others also, it will be certainly helpful. So now I'll clarify certain things, right? This particular presentation has got videos. Please watch the videos carefully, and same videos will be further elaborated by me in the different slides. Okay, you will have a lot of your clarifications by the end. Hold on to your questions. Some questions I'd answer, some questions are there for the agency who have given the problem statements. So they'd be the right persons to tell you what exactly they want. Okay, I will start my presentation.
Sir, audio is not coming.
Audio is not for others. It is inside the PPT itself.
Yeah, it's inside. Just a point here. Are you able to see the video as also hear it?
No, sir, we are able to see but not hear.
Not hear the video.
Hmm.
Just a second. You know, the video has to be playing, you know.
Yeah,
They're able to hear my voice by the mic.
Yeah.
But what's being played inside, they should be able to.
it is inside the PPT, sir.
It's inside the video, obviously.
And this is the PPT.
Yeah, that's the video. From the beginning, let's. Are you able to hear now?
Just play the video, sir.
We can only see it, sir, not able to hear.
All right, all right. See, okay. Notwithstanding, I'll get on with the presentation because I think there must be some issue here wherein you're unable to hear the audio of the video. That's a very important video. Firstly, an introduction about me. I am Lieutenant Colonel Anthony. I'm a program director with iDEX. And like me, there are other program directors. And one of the program directors for space, dev space, is a separate vertical altogether, which has been started recently. by our Honorable Prime Minister during the last Defense Expo. And we have 75 challenges in that, right? Now, coming on to what exactly is iDEX. Let's be very clear on the beginning itself. General Ravi Shankar had made a point that iDEX will fund you. Sure, will fund you. But he told it's a loan and not a grant. So everybody in the audience, be very clear, it's a grant. You understand the difference between a grant and a loan? A grant is something which is given to you and we don't ask for it in return. But yes, accountability will be asked how the money is being spent. But if you fail in between, if you get lost in between, you don't have to return the money. We understand what innovations are. There are loopholes. There are stepping stones where one would falter, one would fall down. And this is what iDEX is meant for. It's a beautiful platform. For last 4 years, we have been a success story. How we have moved, one must see. There are success stories with us. There are 14 firms which have already got orders from the forces. All right, they have not completed the prototype as such, but they've got orders because they're very promising. So far, are you able to hear me? Each and everyone, just tell me, is my audio clear?
Yes, sir. Your audio is very clear.
Yeah, it is very clear, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Very clear.
See, we are a platform. We are a platform which nurtures these ideas and innovations. If, for example, let's say Surya comes up and tells ki, I have got an innovation, like, okay, which will be helpful to the organization, which we have not told you, that we have not given you a problem statement, but you come up and tell that that is something in the open forum is coming. We welcome that also, and we hear you out. And your solution which you're going to provide, we give it to the services and tell, yes, Mr. Surya, there's a firm which tells that Mr. Surya, as an individual, there is an individual who tells that there is a solution which is going to provide, which will be a great game changer for the defense forces. So the service headquarters are going to analyze that, and they see that yes, there is a weight, there is a point in this. So Surya will be given a hearing. When I'm mentioning Surya, means an individual, not an MSME, not a startup. To that level, I'm telling you, he will be given a hearing. And when we find that yes, this person Surya can make it happen, we will take him on board. But when we take you on board, you have to register yourself as a startup. You understand? Now,
Sir, are you talking? I mean, are you addressing me?
Everyone, I'm telling you,
No, sir.
example I'm giving you.
Yes, sir. Example. So I just make a clarification here. Jayasuriya is my sister, and she logged in, and I'm just participating in the
okay,
seminar.
It's okay. I'm just giving an example. One
Yes,
gentleman,
sir.
let's say his name is who? Let's say,
Yeah, got it, sir. Got it.
let's say Anthony or anybody for that matter. I'm just telling you, because we nurture organizations, we nurture the MSMEs, the startups. Okay, there are individual innovators who are with us. There are professors from the colleges and universities who are working with us on ideas. Understand? So the point is, we work on two different patterns. One is we fund up to 1.5 crores. That is one system of funding. There's another system which is DISC Prime. The first one which I told is DISC, wherein we disburse 1.5 crores, up to 1.5 crores. But there is a catch in that. Either we fund 1.5 crores or 10 crores. Equal matching contribution has to come from you. You understand what's a matching contribution? Do you understand what's a matching contribution?
Yes, sir. We have even tried to previous iDEXs also. So we are aware of those kind of things. Yeah.
Yes. For those who are not aware, I'm asking them. Matching contribution is something, for example, let's say a product you want to build, that product costs 100 rupees. If the cost of the product is 100 rupees, 50 rupees iDEX will give you as a grant. and balance 50 rupees you bring. And now, why do we tell you to bring this 50 rupees from your side? Anybody in the audience, can you tell us why is that?
Yes, sir. iDEX has clearly mentioned the skin in the game.
Yeah, skin in the game is, you see, that's a jargon, but I'll tell you, for how serious you are with this. If you got an innovation, how serious are you? We are serious. We are funding you, but how serious are you with it?
Agreed,
To
sir.
know
True
your
that.
seriousness also. If you have
Absolutely.
also funded, if you have also got equal stakes in terms of finances and other things, that means you're really serious. So that seriousness we want to see.
Got it.
Understand? That is why we tell matching contribution you need to bring. And there are something called a DISC, Defense India Startup Challenge. Okay. This startup challenges, there are certain challenges which the defense forces face. So these are given in form of problem statements. We give us problem statements to you. You go through these problem statements, and if you feel, yes, this pertains to your domain and you are the right fit to provide a solution, please apply. I will come on to, in my later part of the presentation, I'll come on to how to apply and what to do. Okay, but first thing I want to clarify that we are a grant making organization. We nurture, we handhold the startups. That is what we are here for. There are so many ifs and buts and situations wherein, that is not. We nurture in such a manner that we overlook certain things. When we feel that, yes, he's got the right fit and he can make it happen. When we get that feeling, yes, we will go to any extent. And that's what we have done in the last 4 years. Things are spilled over time also. There is a maximum time cap of 24 months, but things are spilled over it. We have granted extension. We have in principle granted extensions for that. So we know that yes, things are going to work out. Understand? Right. So let me go over my presentation. Hold on to your questions. Let's have everything at the end. The first and foremost, I want to tell you that we are a grant making organization, not a loan giving organization. We don't ask for the money which you back what we have given to you. Okay. So you can see these are our objectives. We facilitate a rapid development of new, indigenized, and innovative technologies. Create a culture of engagement. It's a culture. When we speak, it's a culture. iDEX is a platform which creates this culture. We empower. Understand? By virtue of, how do we empower? We fund you, we grant you, we give grants, not only grants, but also through our partner incubators, we help you nurture your technology, nurture your ideas in a proper technical environment. Now, when I told you partner incubators, so these are the technical hubs in the country which are known, like IIT Delhi, IIT Hyderabad, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras. They have got their own. Similar ways, there are a number of other incubators are there. Currently, we have more than 23 partner incubators on board, and more are actually in the process of getting on board. So you can see this multiple nodal agencies. We've got this nodal agencies multiple. The tri-services, the headquarter integrated defense, then the Indian Coast Guard, the defense public sector undertakings, Ministry of Home Affairs, the Information Technology Ministry. So these are all who have come to us, in order to seek solutions, and we are the we provide all these problems to our able startups and those with beautiful ideas who can make it happen. We are very much visible to a large gathering as compared to any people who are working independently. There are many such grant making organization of government, but not everybody is so successful as we are. Okay, we are making big strides. Now coming on to the space technology, which is primarily the aim of which have come here, dev space. So these are the Prime Minister's word words which he has spelled. Space technology is an example of what security will mean for any nation in the future. And Mission Dev Space will not only encourage innovation and strengthen our forces, but also provide new innovative solutions. We all know humanity's final frontier is space, and critical components requiring the 5th generation warfare, the ISR, the threats from our adversaries in the space domain, accelerated translations of space innovations into solutions, and the Gaganyans and the second space age, influx of private players. You must have very well heard of Skyroot. I happened to meet the CEO of Skyroot in Hyderabad. He was there for the additive manufacturing conclave in Hyderabad. Likewise, these names are very familiar. Agnikul, they're all from here. And with internet and the NAVIC technologies, there's a lot more to explore in the space domain. Now, this is another video, gentlemen. This is again relating to space, but since you're telling you're unable to hear, I don't know how it will work out, but still I'll play. It's just 2 minutes. Just watch it, just in case you're able to make out anything of it. So that was a small video, even though the audio was not there. I don't know, since you were not able to hear, but to an extent you would have been able to make out. This particular Disk 8 was pertaining to Dev Space, which was launched by the Prime Minister himself. You know, the next frontier is space, certainly, and so much of things coming in that. Now, these are all our 4 main stakeholders. You know, when it comes to the service headquarters, the Army, Navy, Air Force, as also the Defense Space Agency. These are the 4 players who have given us the problem statements. The problem statements broadly pertain to the ones mentioned below: the launch vehicle systems, the geocommunication systems, SSTOs, single stage, 2-stage launch systems, LEO communication systems, machine learning, robotics, AI, CubeSats, such like SAR, right? So any questions which you have to be pointed to them, because they are the ones who have given this problem statements. All the problem statements, as you would have seen, there are 75 problem statements in 4 different domains: disk prime, that is Dev Space Prime, then make 1 and make 2. When it comes to make 1, the grants for 250 crores, it is for 250 crores. That is not with iDEX. iDEX only handles disk and disk prime. Now, for those, and I must tell you that 19th of December is the last date for applying. Anybody who has got, don't be hesitant. just apply it. Okay, just go in. If you got anything which you feel, yes, you can make a difference, just go ahead, make that first step. That first step is most important. Automatically you will find answers as you keep moving ahead. The first step is the most important step which you got to take, and that is applying. Go through the problem statements which appeal to you in your area of expertise. Please go ahead. How the funding should happen, who are going to join hands, yes, clarity will come. You apply first. Okay, when you go to the iDEX website, idex.gov.in, in the top there are tabs on top. iDEX challenges, you can see. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. It is
Yes,
viewable.
yes. So when you click on that, this sort of thing comes, and when you go to disk 8, in that, problems pertaining to disk 8 is the latest. We are going to have our disk 9 during the next Aero India show. That is in February 13th to 17th, we'll be having Aero India at Bangalore. So Honorable Prime Minister would again be launching, but that will be pertaining to cyber security domain. We have cyber challenges big way from the Ministry of Home Affairs, and there are many other technical players in the ministries. They have cyber challenges we are going to launch. So the Prime Minister of India would launch. Anybody who feels that he's more connected to the cyber, wait for it. The next disc is going to be cyber challenges. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, when I'm asking you to apply, please go, because it's a technical platform. We nurture technology. It can't be a one-page format. I have seen people giving their thing in just one page. It does not have head or tail, doesn't lead anything. It straight away amounts to rejection. Let's say 100 people apply for it. Half of them just get rejected just because their proposal itself is not appealing. Kindly make it more elaborate. Go into detail, be passionate about the thing which you're going to do. Am I clear? Ensure
Absolutely clear, sir.
Yes, ensure the completeness. Your pitch deck. See, pitch deck. The pitch deck for a technical proposal will be different from a normal pitch deck for a business proposal, right? A definite and detailed proposal is to be provided. Feasibility study. All these things are to come out clearly. So this is how you do it. The application, the main applicant who's there, his CV, everything would be uploaded, his resume, and we will go through it. And what we'll do is, like, for example, one particular challenge. Okay, let's say challenge 10 of dev space. There are 100 applicants, let's say, for example. All these 100 applicants, whoever has applied, it goes to the one who has, let's say it's a problem pertaining to Air Force. So all these 100 applications go to the Air Force who has given the problem statements. So when they browse through your solutions and the likely solutions which you're trying to provide in your pitch, if that appeals to them, they will shortlist it. Understand? So shortlisting will be drastically low. Finally, it will come down to 10, 12. So these 10 to 12 people will be given a hearing by a panel of experts from the industry, from the defense, from the public sector undertaking, from us, from DIO. So all these people will be there on board to hear you out individually. You have to present your presentation. And one more thing I'll tell you. Can anybody tell for one challenge how many winners can be there? Any idea?
Sir, I think earlier it was about up to 3 to 5, something like that.
You're right. There is no particular limit. If there are 6 players, 6 people appeal on that, yes, or 8 people, that could be eight winners, you know. If all the ideas are good, we can fund them. but at least we would prefer 2 to 3 on board. 2 to 3 winners in each category we prefer. It's not that one person has to make a cut. 2 to 3 people for one challenge. Yes, please. Okay. 2 to 3 people for each challenge. When I say 75 challenges are there, 35 pertains to iDEX 23 plus 8. Okay. So these are the total challenges which we are handling under the disk prime and the disk. Rest beyond that, when the budget goes high, it goes into the make one category, wherein the Department of Defense Production will be handling the funding. Okay, and the make two. So I am primarily here for the iDEX, the defense disk and the disk prime. Now, these are the email IDs. Kindly note down the email IDs. When you see the problem statements on the iDEX website, it will tell you whether it pertains to the Indian Army or the Air Force, Navy, or the Defense Space Agency. It will mention in front whose problem is that. So when you find that this problem pertains to the Defense Space Agency, you have to email your concerns to this email ID to this gentleman. Like, for example, Colonel Jitendra is responsible for the Defense Space Agency. So your concern pertaining to that challenge should be addressed to them. So you will get an answer. So you will get a clarity. Okay, so this is what they want. So you may be thinking of a solution in a different direction. For all you know, the space agency would not want a solution of that sort. So it's good to get a clarity right there. So just see the name of the challenge. Who is the challenge owner? For example, the challenge owner would be Indian Army. So kindly approach Colonel Vikram in the email ID mentioned. Note down all. So far, so good. Are you able to hear? Am I clear on all the aspects which I mentioned till now?
Yes, sir. But I would like to get, email ID of yours also, so that when we share the emails to the particular individuals, we could loop you also if it is possible.
Perfect. Perfect. What you have mentioned, it goes for each and every other player. But the only thing is, right, you can do so, but we would encourage you contact us, post your clarification. Like, okay, some of the technical clarifications could be given by those agencies which have given the problem statement. Notwithstanding, you can do so. My email ID and everybody's email ID pertaining to iDEX, from top down, everybody's email ID is available on the iDEX website in Who's Who. If you see Who's Who,
Yes,
our
sir.
phone numbers, our mobile, our addresses, our email IDs, everything are given in that.
Okay,
So
thank you,
if
sir.
you want to tag us, please do so.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
But be relevant. That's what I mean to say. Because once you get a more clarity, because what happens is, when our inboxes are full, sometimes due to oversight, something may get missed out. Okay. When so much of mails start coming. Understand?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Kindly note down all these. Should I wait for a minute now for all of you to note down? Okay. Shall I move ahead? Next. So this was the presentation. Okay. Now, anybody of you having any queries can shoot. See, queries pertaining to technical aspects I have mentioned. The view file clearly mentions the names and the agencies. Kindly shoot your queries there. Technical queries. As regards how to apply, how to go about, what is going to be the grant, how the system works, how the selection is made, I'll give clarifications onto that. So anybody having any questions may go ahead and ask me any questions which you wish. Let me tell you certain things. We are not very strict on certain aspects. A lot of relaxation is there. Government funding is coming. Despite the fundings, there are issues, but we handhold you in a manner wherein we don't stop you. We don't want you to think in different direction whether funding is going to be stopped, whether this thing would happen or that thing would happen. No, we want you to concentrate on the technology aspects, technical aspects. As long as you are focused, be rest assured we are with you. Where iDEX is with you, our partner incubators are with you. And as regards partner incubators, for example, let's say you are from Bangalore. For example, the applicant is from Bangalore, and there is a problem statement he wants to address to, and he has been shortlisted. So there is a partner incubator whom you need to choose. After you get selected, you need to choose a partner incubator. So there are partner Indian Institute of Science, a partner incubator at Bangalore. There are in Coimbatore. There are. So likewise, all across the country, north, east, south, west, everywhere, we have got our partner incubators. And we have regular outreach programs. Like I have come to IIT here. So I have come with the aim so that we have a larger audience. There are people who don't have visibility, who don't know about iDEX. I want to tell, you want to reach a wider audience so that anybody who feels that they can make a difference, come on board, we're telling. Come on board. Just apply, take the first step. Rest, what happens, that time will only tell. But take the first step. Okay. Anybody, any questions? I am here.
Yeah. Hi, Colonel Anthony. This is Alok here. I have a couple of questions. One is, can a startup apply for multiple ideas? That's my question number one. And two is, what's the time duration it takes from the application submitted to the shortlisting and the final selection? I mean, an approximate timeline.
Okay, these two questions I'll take on. Firstly, a single startup applying for multiple challenges, yes, you can do so. There are people who are working with 2 different challenges, 3 different challenges, they're working with us. They are, okay. So you can apply to all 75 challenges. All right. The shortlisting, as I told you, the shortlisting is done by the agency which has given the problem statement. In this case, it could be the Army or the Air Force or any of the service headquarters or the Defense Space Agency. Understand? So they will do the shortlist. Once they shortlist, they give the shortlist to us. We convene a high-powered selection committee comprising of 5 different selection committee members from the public sector units, from the defense public sector units, from iDEX, from the industry, from the partner incubators, from the service headquarters. The nodal agency is the biggest stakeholder, biggest member in this. That is, nodal agency is the Army. For example, if the problem statement is from Army, the nodal agency is Army. So they are the one who have to say an yes. We all will hear, there are 6 different parameters in which we judge you. How comprehensive it is, how technically feasible it is. Okay. So all these parameters, 6 parameters we see. Okay, not Saksanki, only the 6 parameters. We could broaden this on a wider scale also. But generally we go as per the 6 and we analyze all the startups and we see them. And then we declare our results. It is a mutual consent with everyone with the nod of the agency, the nodal agency. They have to nod, yes, these 4 are fine. I feel they will be able to provide solutions. And once that has been given, then let's say 4 people are selected. Out of all, final 4 out of the shortlist of 10 to 12 people, final 4 are selected, let's say. Of these 4, now you will get one-on-one with the nodal agency. 1-to-1, you will be coming in communication. And you will come out with the PDS PRU. There's something called a problem definition statement, right? So this project requirement units are there. So problem definition statement is a broad aspect, which you both will discuss. You know what happens? Army has got something Army is looking for and something you are able to provide, but not exactly what the Army is able to provide. You are able to provide what exactly Army wants. There's some gap in between. So what happens is you resolve. Army tells, okay, doesn't matter. I will bring down my requirements. So what happens? He comes to your level. So you come on to a consensus key, we are going to work on this, right? So that's how a problem definition statement is redefined. The original problem statement could have been very broad-based, wherein there could have been gaps in your technical ability and Army's requirement. But then when you finally meet, both of you get on board, right? So after that, we declare it on our website. These are the winners. Once the PDS, PRU are defined, we declare the winners. And whatever the project cost is, let's say the project cost is 3 crores, we fund 1.5 crores. The rest 1.5 crores, you have to see how you're going to fund, right? It could be bootstrapping. It could be there are venture capitalists who are already there in the field. I'll give you one example. One example I'll give you of pseudo satellites, one of our projects going on, Air Force projects. What happened was, this project is already being done, being tested in the US by Boeing. Boeing is doing this project. Similar thing in India, this startup ventured into it. And immediately, after this thing, winners were declared and the contract was awarded, the defense secretary tweeted. And after his tweet, the number of people approaching, for funding that increased. His visibility increased drastically because there was something technology at that level where the defense forces were requiring. So likewise, I'm telling you, once you're selected, you're already on the website, people will see you, people will approach you. So that should not be stopping you from applying as of now. All right. Okay. Further, any more questions, please? Hope I've answered your question.
Yes, you have. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Please be open. There is no embargo in asking question. Since you have come here, all the 18 participants who are here, you would have come with some thought process. Okay. Somewhere or the other, you felt you got connected to this thing. So just shoot your questions. So are we done?
Hello, sir. This is Ajay from iDEX Automation.
Hello. Where is it from?
It's based in Chennai. Yeah, we are composite material. Fabrics.
Okay.
Composite material manufacturer. And I have a question. What is the deadline for applying this, sir?
See, for dev space challenges, DISC 8 challenges, the last date is 19th of December. Exactly 10 days hence, the time is over. Right. The application process is not elaborate. Once you go through it, you will be able to make out.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Keep the 19th December date in mind. Apply it. If you still face any difficulty, get in touch with us on the website. Okay. Our email ID, our contact numbers are there. My phone numbers are there. Anything which you relate. Because I'll tell you, I will connect you with the program director for DevSpace. Right. I am not this program director actually. I have come to give a presentation here. Otherwise, the program director is Colonel Mala. I will give your references to him, and you can be one-to-one with him. Right? Any questions that you have? Any queries? Yeah.
Hello, sir. I'm Vijay from Future Contact. So we are an IITM incubated startup. Hi, sir. So apart from funding, so what we are actually doing, like we are building a software that is sector agnostic, so defense can actually use it. So apart from funding, so it's more about, for us, it's more about how to reach defense. So can iDEX be one of its platform? So
see, iDEX platform in the sense, pardon, I didn't get you. Right.
Okay. So let's say we have to develop the product, funding is not a roadblock for us right now. So we have plans for that. So without funding, can we apply it so that like we get a visibility from defense?
See,
so that
you kindly apply. I mean to say, see,
Okay.
why is iDEX existing?
Okay.
It is an interface. It is a platform wherein we are nurturing the startups to help the defense forces solve their problems, right?
Okay.
So the problems which are relevant to the defense forces, if you can provide solutions to them, then we are the right platform. If you are working on some sector which will be useful to, let's say, energy sector, which currently, which defense forces may not be into, that may not be of prime concern. So, that doesn't gel as of.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
But notwithstanding, you kindly apply and see. Okay, just to get the visibility, for all you know, something or the other. We are in various technology field, various domains. And one more thing, all 16 of you now here present. Please don't go only by the challenges reflected on the website. I have told you, if you yourself have got any problem which you feel that there is a problem which you can solve, which is not listed in the number of points already given there, you can come up. I'll give you an example. I had attended one HPSC, the High Powered Selection Committee. This gentleman, he is from Tamil Nadu. He comes, this company, youngster, he tells, I will manufacture a rifle. I will manufacture rifle for the Indian army, which will completely transform this. Okay, he's a single man, single guy. Okay, a passionate entrepreneur, young chap. He came up, he gave us presentation, we heard him. We didn't have this listed. We haven't told we want a rifle, but he told he will provide a rifle which will be game changer. Okay, let's come. There were the defense PSU, the rifle factory, Ichapur. They all came. All the research R&D, they had heard him out. Understand? To make a rifle for the forces is a big thing, because the bullets, how the bullet behaves, how the rifle behaves, the heat dynamics, the shock dynamics. There are so many things to it, I must appreciate the youngster that how passionate he was in his ideas. He has already invested 10 lakhs in his idea. Okay. And DPSU, there's some other program director who's already reviewing the case. Okay. So that is on. Notwithstanding, I'm just telling you, this idea, which you are separately pitching, will be under the open challenge, wherein you will be heard one-on-one, you'll be heard. There will be no competitor to you. If we find you fit, straight away we will be funding you. There are nobody else. Straight away you'll be funded. You will be nurtured through our IITs, whichever you want, whichever partner incubators are there, you'll be nurtured, right? So this is one something really wonderful open challenge concept which we've got.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone? See, I understand you're all these startups, such fertile minds, such inquisitive nature. Keep your mind open. Be inquisitive. Okay. Be curious in doing things. You will get your way. If not with iDEX, somewhere else. Okay. Keep the fire alive in you. And since I'm representing iDEX, I would tell you that we are coming up with many challenges which will be inclined, which I told about. The next cybersecurity domain is a big domain. Number of challenges which are going to be launched by the Prime Minister during the February 13th to 17th Aero India at Bangalore. We're going to come out with a lot. Since I was handling the cybersecurity domain, I'm telling you, it's from the Ministry of Home Affairs and many other ministries, right? So be on the lookout. Be on the lookout. We're coming out with lots of wonderful challenges to you, which is sure to enrich you in many ways. And yes, of course, if you're working with us, That's a different way altogether. With the defense forces, you can contribute to the nation building as such. Okay. So I consider done.
Sir, is there any outreach program plan after this, especially in regards to the problem domains or something as such?
See, outreach programs, we keep having outreach programs. See, there are number of outreach. We have got, for example, like I am a program director. There are deputy program directors. There are program executives. Okay. There's a chief operations officer. There are a number of conclaves keep happening. Like in Chennai also, next week on 16th, the SIDM is hosting at Chola Sheraton. So there also, iDEX will be represented. So yeah. So number of outreach programs keep happening. This is one such. For all you know, I may be again here for something else or at some other place, right?
Okay.
This is apart because we have got funds. We have 450 crores of the government to be disbursed to you people. 450 crores by 2025, right?
Okay, sir. Yep.
So there is a corpus available. There are types available. We just want people, the right fit, the right mindset we want to be on board with us.
Right. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. You have given enough courage to get into the first step. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Most welcome. Okay, then we consider this close. Great. It was a wonderful interaction. All the best to you. Take care. Have a good day, all of you. See you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll be sharing information following this.
See, Mr. Owen, I told you now.